What's good, y'all? It's your boy BioSpider 3.0, keeping the action going with the Marvel Legends Gamerverse Venom from Spider-Man 2 the game. Alright, so here we are, guys. We are getting into it. Full review time. So we already saw him in the packaging. We saw what all that looked like, the accessories that he comes with. But, real quick, I am going to put him on the rotating display stand so that we get a nice 360 look at him, and then we will take a closer look at the accessories he comes with. But as you can see, this guy is massive. I've got to back him up quite a bit because as I mentioned in the first look, he actually stands at 10.5 inches tall apparently. I didn't have like my ruler or my measuring tape to verify that, but apparently the figure stands at about 10.5 inches tall. And I guess in the game, I believe he was meant to stand at about 10 feet, 4 inches. So, this is 1/12 scale. It's pretty much exactly the scale to what it should be in 1/12. So he is massive, bro. Just to give you a quick, feel of, oops, sorry, knock yourself over. Give you a quick feel of his size. He is towering over this Thanos figure, as you can see right here. This was one of my largest figures in 1/12 scale previously. This Thanos is about like an 8-inch tall figure, I believe. So, he's around there at least. And yeah, he was like my most like tall, imposing figure, and this guy makes him look like an absolute little baby. So, just to give you an idea of just how big this Venom is. There is a comparison with the ZD Toys Thanos, but anyways, let's go ahead and get him rotating. Hopefully he doesn't fall. Oh, yep, there he goes. Now he's actually pretty well balanced, despite that little hiccup right there. Let me stop this real quick. You just kind of have to get his feet. I had his feet planted really nice when I first got him out the box, and then I went messing with him, and he kind of like got thrown off his balance. So let me just try to make sure he's really well balanced again, because he actually, despite his size, is pretty well, balanced. Like I said, he actually does hold his weight pretty well once you find that sweet spot. I actually thought he was going to be heavier. I mean, he is a pretty hefty figure, don't get me wrong, but I guess I was just expecting him to feel like a little bit heavier. But yeah, he does have a nice weight to him, so that is good. Definitely doesn't feel like super hollow or anything, so that's nice. Let's see. Okay. Hopefully that should be a nice position to keep him standing upright. But yeah, there is a nice 360 look at Venom. And yeah, as you can see, man, he is just absolutely massive, gargantuan. This is the biggest version of Venom I think we've ever seen, at least like in a video game and, kind of like live action style. If you guys have seen, the Tom Hardy Venom movies, you know that they have a Marvel Legends figure for that, which I plan on reviewing very soon as well. And when I first saw pictures of this guy, I was thinking that he was around like the same size. Like I thought they kind of had like reused that body, but then I saw like a picture of both of them side by side, and I was like, oh yeah, nah, this guy is way, way bigger than that other Tom Hardy movie Venom. This one is absolutely gigantic, like almost like twice as tall. Like he's literally huge. So yeah, just to give you a sense of just how tall and absolutely imposing and just brooding this guy is. Yeah, there's your 360 looks. We get him coming around here one more time. All right, we'll just stop it on the side, a little profile view there for you. But yeah, that is Venom. So, I'm going to move him aside real quick and we'll take a closer look at the accessories first. So, just in case you guys are wondering for the price of this guy, on BigBadToyStore right now, he is in stock currently for $60.29. So $60.29 on BigBadToyStore. I definitely recommend BigBadToyStore out of all the places that I'm about to list to you guys, just because, number one, they have him cheaper. And they do have a very good return policy, for like, their shipping is usually very good. They package their figures very well. I've gotten figures from them in the past, and I've never had any problems or complaints with them. And yeah, and they also have, again, that return policy. So I think, like, you know, if anything is like majorly wrong with the figure, you can let them know, and they have a I forget how many days you have to return it, but from what I've heard, they have a good return policy. So I would definitely recommend BigBadToyStore. Hasbro Pulse also has it for $67.99 on their website, and obviously, you know, that's more expensive, $67 versus $60. So yeah, $67.99 on Hasbro Pulse. And then Entertainment Earth, they had it, but it is currently out of stock. On their website, it goes for $64.99. So yeah, just to give you guys some prices, retail, you know, this guy is probably going to go anywhere between 60 and 70 bucks. I paid a little bit more for mine because I got mine at Metropolis Comics. So shout outs to the folks at Metropolis Comics. Very much appreciate y'all for getting me this figure. And it was nice seeing him, you know, in the, you know, in person, because I think they had like probably like 4 on a shelf. And I was, being that this is like a window box, thank goodness, I was able to, you know, see the paint on him. And so I compared the paint with this one I picked up to the other 3. And the other 3 all seem to have like some pretty major fuzziness going on with the logo on his chest. And so obviously I picked what I saw was like the cleanest one. And yeah, I'm very happy that I was able to do that. But anyways, jumping into the accessories that he comes with. He comes with 2 fist hands, all right? So, you know, out of the box, you can see right here, he's got this kind of like open hand right here on the right, and then on his left hand, he's got a slightly less open and a little more clenched hand, all right? So that's straight out of the box. And then, yes, you do get 2 interchangeable fist hands like this, which look pretty nice, pretty nicely detailed. Hopefully you guys can see it. He's even got like some veins kind of sculpted in at the top of the hand. That looks really, really cool. Nice finish on these. It's a nice, mostly matte black finish with just like a little bit of shine to it, which matches the rest of the figure. We'll see that in a little bit, but yeah, that is really nice. So you get 2 fist hands, 1 for each side, obviously. Here is the other one, in case you wanted to see that. So that looks really cool. And then he comes with this really, really cool symbiote effects piece. I really do like this. And the nice thing about this is that instead of just sliding over, you know, like his wrist or hand, there's actually a peg inside of here, all right? So it's actually like an interchangeable piece. So you would pull his hand off. I believe it plugs in, yeah, it should plug into either side. I put it on the right side when I was messing around with him. But yeah, you can pull his hand off, and then it has a peg inside of here that seems to be, I guess it's fixed. I thought for a second it might be like on a ball joint, like you could move the hinge around, but no, I guess it is like on a fixed peg in there. But yeah, it does plug in very nicely to, you know, whatever arm you're gonna put it on. And you have this very nice kind of like tree looking, you know, symbiote effect, like it's, you know, spreading out, splaying out, like it's growing. It looks really, really cool. I'll show you guys what that looks like displayed on him. Matter of fact, let's just do it now, get out the way. So I'll go ahead and swap the right hand out. Comes out very easily. Just pull that right out. Take this effects piece, and you know, obviously has a hole for the peg to go into. So you just line that up and push it all the way in, and voila! Now you have this nice, giant, gnarly symbiote effects, you know, attack piece coming out at you, and he looks really, really cool with it displayed. So, you know, you can put him in all different sorts of crazy poses with this, and he is gonna look absolutely menacing and terrifying with this thing. So super dope. So yeah, pull that out, and let's see, I'll go ahead, I'll put one of the fist hands on him just so we can see that. So I've exchanged it with one of his fist hands for the right side, so now you can see him with a fully clenched fist. All right, move this out the way. And then as far as his other accessories, he comes with the alternate head, which I definitely prefer, you know, as opposed to the head that comes on him in the package. Even though this is like a really nice head sculpt and it does match the game very well, but I always like, you know, this style of head better. You know, this reminds me more of like the comics, like classic Venom with the mouth, you know, wide open, It's shaped a little more like angular, more streamlined at the jaw. And then you have this like gnarly long tongue sticking out, curling up like that. But really nice details on these head sculpts, because you know, even the eyes are in this kind of like nice pearlescent white color. They have like a little bit of sheen to them, which, you know, really makes it look alive and like alien organic, which is really cool. So I really do like that. The finish and the paint for the teeth looks very nice as well. And like, you know, the kind of reddish pink color for the gums and the tongue, as well as the inside of the mouth, looks very nice. Obviously you can kind of see a little bit of like the hole of like going around like where the tongue connects to the mouth. But I mean, that's not too bad, not too distracting. But yeah, very nice color for the teeth, and just the overall paint for the head looks very, very nice, this alternate head. And the nice thing about this alternate head is that you also get this little saliva piece. And this is probably like one of the coolest things Hasbro has done that I've seen. This is something that I would expect with like an import company, but this is really cool. So you have the option to put this kind of like saliva piece around. So I'll show you guys how it works. So basically, you take this head that has like the long tongue, and you basically just, you know, there's a hole obviously in the middle of this. So you just kind of slide it. You slide the tongue through that little hole and just, you know, slide it all the way up to the mouth. And it is a pretty soft piece, and you just kind of slowly push it in there. Hopefully I put this in the right way. Yeah. I think it's it's meant to go one way into his mouth in order to fit properly. So you just kind of seat it back all the way into the mouth like that. And then you have this really, really nice saliva effects piece, like from the side. It looks like he's, you know, got all this drool in his mouth as he's sticking his tongue out. So that is a really, really nice, you know, effects piece, and a nice extra option to have. So yeah, you can have that if you want that for your display. And it looks really, really good, you know, from all angles. So, you know, if you want that, you can have that in there. If you don't, obviously all you got to do is kind of like pinch and pull this out. Slides out pretty easily. Just slide it down the tongue, and voila. And now you're back to a clean mouth Venom. But yeah, I love this head sculpt. Very, very nice. So very good job, Hasbro. This is definitely a banger of a figure so far, man. Definitely, I think one of their best that I've handled in a long time. And yeah, that's pretty much it for his accessories. So, you know, those two alternate fists, the symbiote effects piece, the alternate head, and the little saliva piece. Now that all the accessories are out the way, let's go ahead and jump into play and display. Yes, sir. So the articulation on this guy, surprisingly good, man. And I say surprisingly good just because, you know, he is so massive. I wasn't expecting his articulation to be, you know, anything incredible. But you guys know me. I tend to watch reviews before I review a figure myself. And I remember watching D Amazing's review on this guy and seeing some of the poses that he was able to get out of this guy, and I was just, you know, blown away. Hasbro really did their thing on this, you know, this figure. So very, very nice articulation. So starting with the head sculpt, it is on a ball peg, of course. He can look up decently well on that ball peg. You can start to feel it kind of pop off. So before it gets to popping off, he can look up about that high, which is all right. You know, he kind of has like this, being such like a big bodybuilder type of build, he's got like, you know, huge traps, and so his back kind of like curves in towards his neck, and so, you know, that kind of affects like the angle of like his head looking up, or like gives the illusion that he's not looking up as far, which I guess he's not, but you know, this is something to note. But he can look down pretty well. Yeah, you see I popped it off, but yeah, now you can see it's got that ball peg right there. It's a nice cavity in the neck, nice ball peg that moves around. And let me go ahead and pop that head back on there. There you go. But yeah, he can look down pretty nicely. He can pretty much tuck his chin in, which is nice. That's a pretty nice, you know, side profile view. Definitely reminds me of the Venom movies with Tom Hardy. Similar look, obviously, for the design of this video game version. You can look side to side, which is very nice, and you can actually rotate full 360 on that ball peg. Just be careful right there. His head is going to kind of like run into the traps. But yeah, and then he gets even a little bit of leaning in there too, which is really nice. That nuanced leaning, because that is going to give him a lot of expressive posing. You know, doesn't really matter which head you have on there. It's going to look really nice when you can tilt his head side to side like that. He's got really nice arm articulation. So he's got ball joints for the shoulders that allow his arms to go up better than 90 degrees. So you can almost get like a Y pose, definitely a T pose for sure. A little bit better than a T, so that's very nice. They come down pretty naturally to his size, which is nice because not all Hasbro figures do that. You got a nice bicep swivel cut. And the joints, all the joints do feel very nice on this figure. I gotta mention that. They do feel pretty smooth, yet tight for the most part. So that is really nice. No looseness, no unstable feelings in the joints. So I'm really liking that, especially for such a big character. You got double joints for the elbows. So that looks pretty good. You can collapse the arm. Like that is really good range. I wasn't expecting his, arm to fold that far back, but that is very, very nice. The elbow is going to get a little bit gappy, a little bit ugly, depending on what angle you're looking at. But, that's not too bad. Definitely not the worst elbow I've seen, especially from Hasbro. So that's nice. Comes back out. And then you have a swivel. You got a hinge, swivel and hinge for the wrist. And the hinges they appear to be vertical. Yeah, so you got vertical hinges to point, towards and out from the body. You can obviously rotate it around, but yeah, that's pretty nicely done. You also have very nice butterfly joints on this guy, so you can get him kind of crossing his arms. I mean, not a huge amount because the chest is obviously very big, as well as the bald shoulders. So coming forward, he's not going to get the most range, but if you like bend his elbows and whatnot, you can kind of get him crossing his chest, so that's good. He's going to get some nice range to maybe choke somebody out in front of him. That'll look pretty good. And then going backwards, the butterfly joints do work pretty well also. So you can actually move his arms pretty far back. And you can see the detail, the spider logo, even on his back, is done very, very nice. Like great detail in that back logo. We'll look at that a little bit closer in a minute here. Let's get through articulation. You got an upper diaphragm joint, which allows him to crunch forward that much using just that top joint, and then backwards that much, so not bad. And then of course you're going to get some leaning, a little bit of leaning side to side from that same joint, as well as rotation. So pretty much full 360 rotation, a little bit of wiggle room up there as well. And then you've got this reverse ab crunch joint at the bottom here that allows him to crunch forward that far, right? If you use both joints, you can get him crunching forward that far and crunching back about that far. And it does tend to kind of like spring back into place once you push it past a certain point, so just be aware of that. But I mean, that is still pretty good range when you combine both of those joints. And then for the legs, we'll do out to the side first. He actually has surprisingly good range out to the side, especially for being such a big character, so that's nice. So you can get, definitely not perfect splits, but he gets kind of close, so that's good. You got a thigh swivel in there, which is nice. Upper thigh swivel, double joint in the knees. That allows him to come to his lower back. Very, very nice. Really good range there. Obviously doesn't go back very far, hard sculpt for the butt. But, it's all right. Kicking forward, actually pretty nice, man. You can almost get like a 90-degree kick going forward, so that's very nice to see. And he actually has a lower swivel cut down here below, like at the bottom of the shins. He actually has a swivel down there, so you can rotate from that. And then for the feet, he can hinge all the way to the tippy toes. He can kick up about that far on the foot. And he does have a toe joint as well. So you can see he's got the human-like toes on this one that hinge up and down. So that's pretty steep. Ankle joint, but it is, toe joint, but it is placed pretty nice. And then you also have a swivel for the foot, ankle rocker or pivot. So yeah, man, this guy actually has a lot of really great articulation, especially for his size. So I was very pleased to see that. But yeah, just real quick, we'll take one last look at him because I definitely want to get to the size comparisons. But just looking at the details up close, like I said, I got like the cleanest one that I saw at Metropolis. So like there's only like a little bit of fuzziness in the spider logo, like a little bit like right here with the white. But pretty much everywhere else on his chest is clean as far as the logo goes. Same thing on the back. Very, very nice, nicely painted logo. I mean, there's a few fuzzy spots on the back here and there. You can kind of see some of the white bleeding onto the black, but not horrible at all. And again, I really like the finish of this guy. You can see like how much texture and detail goes into him. It's kind of like a satin finish. Some areas like almost look actually like matte, but then you have like a nice kind of like glossy look to replicate that sort of like slimy alien look that we saw in the game. Very, very nicely done. So very good job to Hasbro on this one. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into size comparisons. All right. I got a lot of people I want to compare this guy to. Just make sure you can stand first, stand nice and tall and straight. All right, there we go. So first up for size comparisons, you guys pretty much already saw him with Thanos, but I'll bring him in real quick. Here he is with the ZD Toys in-game Thanos. And for another kind of big guy, we have the Thing from Toy Biz. The Fantastic Four movie Thing right here. Let me back this up. I'm gonna have to back this up quite a bit because he's so damn big. But yeah, you can see he's towering over both of these guys. Even Thanos looks absolutely tiny next to him. So there is those two. Move these out the way. For some Marvel Legends comparisons, we've got the retro card Shocker right here. And of course we have the Maximum Spider-Man on his opposite side right here. And yeah, you can see Venom just absolutely towers over them. Looks like an absolute monster, a giant. He's about like twice as tall as each of these guys. So there you go. All right. For some Mayface comparisons, we've got the in-game Captain America right here from Mayface, and we have the Mark 50 Iron Man from Mayface as well. And yeah, you can see once again, absolutely towering. I mean, this guy looks like he could stomp on both of these two, no problem, man. He is just huge. He's gonna have such an imposing shelf presence, I promise you. Just so big. So let's see, let's get a Black Series. We've got Count Dooku from the Black Series, and let's see, we'll get one more Mayfix. We've got the Darth Vader from Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith Vader. All right, and you can see Venom again towering over both of them. So yeah, there's really not many people that are going to compare with this guy as far as height goes. I forgot to bring one of my 1/6 scale So-So figures to compare with him, just because I think he would actually be pretty close in height. But here is a McFarlane comparison. We have the DC Rebirth Deathstroke, and we have, let's pull in this Mattel Batman, DC Universe Classics New 52 style Batman. I think that looks pretty good. Again, just absolutely crushing them as far as height goes, height and size, honestly. For an SH Figure Arts comparison, we have the Masked Rider Blade right here. And let's see, for another villain comparison, we have the Marvel Legends Carnage. This is from the movie Venom line. All right, so we got the Marvel Legends Carnage right there. And Carnage looks like an absolute baby symbiote compared to Big Daddy Venom right there. All right, so there you go. For another Mayfix, we'll do the Mayfix Daredevil comic version. And then we'll compare him with this McFarlane Toys Dire the Wolf from Fortnite. All right, slide that over a bit so you guys get a sense of that. Huge, huge, huge. All right, still towering, of course. Let's see, we'll also bring in Cyclo, this Jazzware Cyclo figure from Fortnite. And for a Toy Biz, we have the Sinister Six box set Green Goblin. Make sure you can stand here. Okay, there you go. So there he is with those two. All right, towering once again. And to finish it off, we have a G.I. Joe comparison. We've got the Battle Android Trooper from G.I. Joe Classified Series. For another Marvel Legends, we have the Retro Card Black Cat on this side. So yeah, he's still gigantic over both of them. All right, and to finish it off, we have Zeltrax and the Marvel Legends Prowler, retro card Prowler right here. Recently reviewed. And yeah, obviously still crushing both of those guys. And last but not least, the Toy Biz Invisible Woman from the Fantastic Four movie. And she looks absolutely tiny. Insignificant even next to this giant Venom. But yeah, that's it. That's all the size comparisons, and that is going to be my review. Hopefully I didn't miss any points. I think I touched on everything. So yeah, I'll obviously have a clean figurine scale for this guy in the description. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new, be sure to subscribe. This has been your boy BioSpider 3.0, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys. Peace.